Do not get married before having these important conversations. Before I get into this video, I just want to put it out there that money is the killer of marriages and long-term relationships. Money is not happiness. Money is freedom, and that is my opinion. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Black and Blending. Black to the Blending. How you guys doing? If you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing below, turning on the notification bell so that you are notified every time we post a video. Are you in a relationship and things are getting serious and you're wondering, is this the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Or are you, already engaged and you were thinking, what kind of conversations could I have with my partner? These are just the most important things that I feel, no matter how small you think they are, I feel it's conversations that must be had before you commit to being somebody's wife or somebody's husband. It is super, super, super important. I cannot stress it enough to have these conversations before you get married. You don't want to get into, marriage and then you are surprised, right? Number one for me on the list is talking about dates. A lot of people get afraid of talking about dates. Oh no, no. Especially that most people are getting married in community of property. You understand? Not a lot of people want to be signing prenups and stuff like that. So I think it's very important for you to understand the dates. Okay, this is how much dates I'm in. This is how much dates I'm in. How are we gonna, try to figure it out? Do we want to take dates together, or do we not want to have dates together? There's some girl that said to me that she was dating someone, right? She was dating a guy who had so much dates, right? And then he had taken some dates in her name. They were in a relationship. They were not married, no fiance, nothing. And then he had taken some dates in her name, and then they broke up. So now she had to start paying that guy's dates. You understand? And that was honestly a dumb move, because why are you taking on somebody else's dates or allowing him to put dates in your name with the thing of, I'm gonna pay you, don't worry, I'm gonna pay? The relationship ended, and who had to pay for it? She had to pay for it. So be smart, voila, if you were asleep. So another important topic for me, I feel like we should start having a conversation of children. How many children are we going to have? When are we going to have children? Are we going to adopt? Talking about infertility or fertility, because these are things that you face in your marriage. Not everybody gets into a marriage and immediately they have babies, and there are people who have infertility problems. These are conversations that you should deal with before you get married, because you don't want to be in a relationship where you in your head want to have 2 children and you're marrying a man who wants 7. Or you are ready to have kids now and your partner is still, okay, I'm not ready, I want to wait maybe for another 6 or 7 years. You understand? I feel like when you are, like, before you jump into any idea of marriage, or even, it doesn't even have to be marriage, just a relationship, you must be fully and willingly, committed to one person. You understand? This thing, I'm not sure, I'm not, like, come on, we've passed that. We're not at that stage in our lives where we're still trying to mess around. If you're trying to mess around, get out of a serious relationship, stop leading people on, So I think that before, I hate it when people say it's not the right time. Like, how do you know it's not the right time? What's going to tell you that it's the right time? You understand? You jump in and you see what happens. Like with me, I could have also said, oh, it's not the right time. I just had a baby. I had a bad breakup. And now I'm getting into a relationship. And no. I just jumped in and I said, Lord, take the wheel. If this is meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not meant to be, what I do know is I will give it my best. I will give it everything that I have to make sure that this relationship works. So it is very important for us to start talking about infertility, start talking about how many children. If we do have infertility problems, are you willing to adopt, or you don't want to adopt at all? Talk about religion, talk about core values, talk about what is important in your life. Talk about, your timeline, like your 5 to 10 year plan. What's your 10-year plan? Do you want to go back to school? What is your career? Do you want to move? Do you want to relocate? I mean, it's so important, because sometimes you get into a marriage and you wanted to be a traveler, and now you can't travel because now you've met somebody who's comfortable with the place they are in, or maybe even the country, but you, on the other hand, you are not there. You still want to explore, or maybe you got married, you moved to a place and now you're not happy about it or whatever, and you want to move, and the person you are with is not willing to move. You understand? So I feel like it's important, even when it comes to religion, I feel like it's important for us to have conversation. How are we going to raise our children? Which religion? Especially if you guys obviously marry two different in 2 different religion, like maybe he's Muslim and you Christianity. I'm just giving an example, but that's the stuff that you should talk about. You should talk about your growth, just openness. I feel like what we are looking for is just a now. Like, it must be a good time now, everything must happen, must just be now, and we're in honeymoon phase. No, we'll see the problems when they come. No, you cannot be those people. We'll see the problem when they come. We see them now. Another thing we should talk about is anger management. You understand? Anger management and background history. You get what I mean? Like, does your partner struggle with anger management? Do you need therapy for it? Do you want to seek help? Are you able to talk to your partner about your feelings? Maybe sometimes you come from a bad home. Maybe your dad wasn't available, your mom wasn't available, and you are struggling with your own childhood trauma. Those are the things you want to talk about before you get married. You don't want to go into a marriage and then you find out this guy, he's got anger management problem, or this girl's got a smart mouth, she's disrespectful as hell, and she doesn't know how to respect you. I feel like we, as this generation, we have to just be woke. Like, you have to state what you want from the beginning of the relationship. And I know people mock, like, energy. No, he'll be fine. Guys, energy important. You have to marry, you have to follow. I feel like when it comes to energy, you have to follow your guts. Does it match mine? Can I live with this person for the rest of my life? You understand? Because that's what it is. You are living with this person for the rest of your life. And another thing is clothing. I know it may seem like another problem, like another small problem, but small problems add up and become a big thing. You understand? So I think it must also be a thing of comfort. If you meet me as a person who, I'm comfortable in sweatpants and t-shirts, and you're okay with that, when you're a slay queen, or you're a fashion over girl, or whatever, or you this model guy who always want to look posh and whatever, I feel like our expectations of matching another person's comfort should also matter. You understand? And it's important. I know a lot of people are like, I don't care what he wears and whatever, but then a few years down the line, or a year down the line, you all of a sudden unhappy with how he presents himself, and how you want to change the way he looks, or whatever the scenario might be. Sexual compatibility, right? I think that, okay, I'm not going to go in depth in this, but I just feel like it is important for you to sit down and have these conversations, so that like, you need to be on the same page. You need to be, the same playing field. You need to have, like, consent. You need to have the willingness. If there's any trauma you've experienced, this is the chance for you to actually speak on it and speak about it. You understand? And another thing is the money, like the finances of it, not just who's gonna pay what, but also, like, savings. So how much do you guys earn together? Okay, I earn this month, put together. Okay, so how much is the rent that how much are we gonna spend on apartments? How much are we gonna save? How much are we gonna do this? You understand? You always have to make sure that before you take the big step, you are on the same page, because the last thing you want is to be with somebody who wants to live in a mansion and you okay living in a 4-room while you save for maybe a holiday, and that person is just worried about, no, now I want this apartment here. You understand? So you must always speak about, it must be a thing of, okay, can we afford it? You understand? Do we want to go above our budget? But you guys have to have that conversation. You need to know how much this person's bringing, how much this person's bringing, so that you can plan together. You get what I mean? And I mean, I know it's the beginning of your relationship, or maybe it's almost the beginning of your marriage, and the last thing you want to talk about is burial arrangements, proceedings, and stuff like that. But it's also important. You want to know how your partner wants to get buried. You want to know what his last dying wishes are gonna be. Talk about godparents. Some events that he doesn't want. Just speak on it. There's nothing wrong. If you speak about death, it doesn't mean you're gonna die today or tomorrow. It doesn't mean that. You understand? You're still gonna have a long life. You're gonna live. And stuff like that. But I just feel like we need to start having these conversations. Like, what if I become paralyzed? Are you still gonna be there for me? Will you be able to nurse me? Like, what if I lose a limb? What if, dude, there are so many what ifs. There are so many what ifs that can happen. I feel like it's important to have those what if conversations before you get there and you get the what ifs. You get what I mean? I feel like people must understand that love is not what keeps a relationship going. It's commitments. It's waking up and acts of commitment of saying, I am going to love you even when on days I don't feel like loving you. When one is down, you have to be able to pick the other one. And when the other person is down, you should be able to, to keep and just keep going. You need to get, that happily ever after. Oh, I'm a princess, I want to be a queen, I'm gonna marry a king. That stuff happens in movies. And yes, if you get a prince who treats you really nice and you never have bad days, well, that's good. But let me tell you something. When you are married, at some point, not even married, even in your relationship, at some point in your relationship, you're going to reach a point where you are just like, yo, today I don't even want to look at him. Who is this person again? Why did I marry him? You get what I mean? But on those days, you have to search within yourself and understand, okay, what was the reason why I said I do to this person in the first place? What is the reason why I actually started dating this person in the first place? It is super important for you to understand that love is not what keeps a relationship. It's active commitment, it's communication, it's dedication, it's being there for the person even when they don't ask you to be there for them. Okay, so before I even continue, I just want to put it out there that you are not a good person because of superficial attributes. So if you notice in this video, I did not talk about background, I did not talk about tribe, I did not talk about education, I did not talk about, your color, your gender, or whatever, because that stuff doesn't count in the long run. What counts in the long run is the fact that you guys trust each other, you guys are committed, and there is love there. And those things are just what's gonna move you. As long as you have respect, you are committed, actively committed to this person, you know what you want in your life, and you know what you want in your partner, then you are good to go. The rest of the stuff is just background noise. You can never date somebody or marry someone because you're trying to impress your mom, or you're trying to impress your family, trying to impress this person, because they are not going to be in a relationship with that person. They are not going to be sleeping with that person, dealing with whatever you're going to be dealing with for the rest of your life. So it's super important that for you don't pay attention to, oh, I want a man who's tall, dark, and handsome. Oh, I want a man who's like this, like this, like this. But more of, I want somebody who's going to love me for me, number one. Somebody who's going to understand me. Somebody who's going to be there for me through thick and thin. And somebody, when I'm paralyzed, when I lose my eye, when I lose my lump, when I have breast cancer, they cut it off, God forbid. Or maybe something happens to you, something tragic, some tragedy happens to you. That person's not going to leave, but they're going to stay by your side. I'm telling you guys, it is really important to have these conversations. These conversations help you a lot. Even just having this conversation kind of make you realize the person you're actually dating, the person you're about to get married to. Oh, okay. So if I lose my leg when you're going to leave me. Or if I get 3 million, you want me to buy you a weave. Or if I do this, you want this. You understand? It kind of shows true colors by having these conversations. And like I mentioned, it is important. Don't just take it, oh, honeymoon phase. Oh, he's my knight in shining armor. Let's not try relive what we see in the movies, because a movie is there to entertain you, but in real life, who are you trying to entertain? You understand? So it is important. Talk about, okay, are we going to be the family that I'm going to buy everything cash and no debt at all, unless we're trying to buy a house, or we're trying to buy a car, or are we going to be the family who's just going to take everything in debt, on debt, and then try to pay it out later? You understand? Like I mentioned, these conversations are obviously haven't been had in a lot of relationships. That's why money, finances is one of the reasons why there's a lot of divorces, because people are not just openly saying what needs to be said. And I feel like another important one is communicating that, okay, so let's say, because a man is a provider, let's say the provider loses his job, are you able to carry him through without belittling him, the fact that he cannot provide for you? You understand? Because I feel like right now, the society we live in, we are pinned against each other. You understand? So men are trash, and then women are just these, I can do better by myself, I don't need a man, I don't need this, I can do it for myself and whatever. And that's what we're trying to also get away from. So it is important for you to sit down with your partner and have these conversations. Okay, X, Y, and Z is what I like. Do you like it? You don't like it? Okay. But you must also understand there must be compromise, because that's what relationships are about. Relationships are about compromise. You can't just say, hey, I'm putting my foot down because I'm a man. It doesn't work like that. You understand? You must make sure that everybody has an equal voice in the relationship. And you must also talk about, how do we handle disagreements? Do we walk away for a minute and come back after we've obviously cooled off, or do we shout at each other until we have no voices left, and our sore and our throats are sore? Like, how do you deal with that? Guys, I'm telling you, I know I haven't been married for years, but I have been around circles of friends or people who've been married, and you just hear, them complaining about things that they should have known before they got married. Like, it's just stuff that, these are just simple things that you want to talk about. You want the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with to know what is it you like, what you don't like, what ticks you off, your story. I've been molested, or I've been I've been abused, or I was abandoned, and I have my own healing to deal with. I have I'm still hurt from my childhood trauma and stuff like that. Those conversations are really, really important to have. Guys, if you have any more, please do leave a comment in the comment section below. Please like and share this video to help somebody out there. Thank you so much. That's all I have for you today. My name is Tete and this is Black and Blending, and I will see you guys in my next video.